So the news for Carmelo Anthony continues to get worse, right? We already heard rumors that he might not have money, that he came out as an indigent defendant, meaning he doesn't even have money to hire a private lawyer. And now more and more people are coming out after watching the videotape, giving their perspective on what they've watched. From what they're watching, it doesn't help Carmelo self-defense case. So in this video, we have a reporter from News Nation who's going to give his perspective on what he saw after watching that tape. So let's hear what he had to say and I'll share my thoughts.
Texas grand jury indicted 17-year-old Karmelo Anthony just last week for a deadly altercation that happened at a Texas track meet in April. And now News Nation has viewed a critical piece of video evidence. 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed. Anthony admits he stabbed Metcalf while both took cover under a team tent during a rain delay. But Anthony says he was acting in self-defense. News Nation's Rich McHugh has been tracking this case. And Rich, you are one of the reporters who got to view this important piece of evidence.
Yeah, Nicole, they allowed me to view this video under strict conditions. I couldn't record anything. I couldn't take pictures. I could take notes, but that's about it. They would play it one time, and they wouldn't even rewind it or play it again, even the moment in question. So what I saw in the video was ultimately, it's from the press box across the field on the 45-yard line. You can view a yellow tent across the field. That's where this incident happened. There's no sound on the video, and it's raining. And you can see about 30 to 40 people around the field. It's a track meet that morning, so they're preparing for this track meet. The incident in question happens at 9:44 a.m. It's really calm up until that point, and then chaos ensues, and you can't really make up anybody. You can't make out individuals. You can see people and colors and what they're wearing, but you can't make out identities. But again, at 9:44, chaos ensues. What I did not see was any obvious physical altercation leading up to the stabbing. Now, I went inside the stadium earlier this morning to try and give our viewers a better vantage point of where this all happened. Take a look. Across the field, you can see where the press box cameras captured everything. We're on the 45-yard line here. This is where it ultimately happened. There's a tent right up here, the kind of the sports tent where everybody was huddled at 9:44. Whatever went down happened right here. Everybody kind of took off. Now, according to police reports, Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony were here at this track meet. Austin Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move out from under their team's tent when Anthony grabbed his bag, reached inside, and told Austin, quote, "Touch me and see what happens." The police report states Metcalf grabbed Anthony to tell him to move. Anthony pulled out a knife, stabbed Metcalf once in the chest, and ran. Metcalf died in his twin brother's arms. And now, as of last week, Carmelo Anthony indicted for first-degree murder. Nicole?
So, Rich, how might this affect court?
Well, it's a good question. Court date has not yet been set. His first appearance is set, I believe, for July 17th. This video, from what I saw, the question I have is, will they be able to enhance it and to view it, to zoom in? Because what I saw happened very quickly, and there was no obvious altercation just before. So it could be a case where both sides will see what they want to see, but the question remains, how much can they kind of alter or zoom in on this video, Nicole?
All right. Rich McHugh live for us there as this case continues to unfold. Rich, thank you.
Thank you for watching.
So yeah, so you heard that, and the thing that I'm listening to when he says is that there's no obvious altercation before the stabbing happened, right? Because I mean, everybody's been talking about especially the people that have been defending Carmelo Anthony, saying that he was jumped. Right, that's what a lot of them been saying, that he was jumped, right? Even though they never saw the video, they were just hearsay saying that he was jumped. And if you looked at Carmelo's statement, it said that he said he was talking just to Austin about touch me and whatever, see what happens. So it doesn't sound like he was jumped. And I think from the video, it shows that, like they said, they didn't show an altercation. I think, and this is the statement that a lot of people that have watched the video, they're all saying the same thing. So when it comes to the whole self-defense case, it's going to be kind of tough to say that, all right, he was threatened by, him and his brother, and that he was jumped. Okay. And not only that, based on what other witnesses are saying, that they're saying the same thing like everyone is saying, that there was no threat. It's just that they were trying to get him out the tent and he stabbed him. Okay, so it's not going to help his self-defense case. And it's crazy because you got a lot of these people defending Karmelo Anthony, coming up with all types of stories, and you don't hear them anymore, right? You don't hear them talking about it as more and more people come out talking about the video and the evidence that people are watching. You don't see anyone here trying to defend these things anymore, because it's starting to get obviously clear that what Karmelo Anthony did, that he was in the wrong, that he pretty much just took out the knife and he stabbed him. All right, so you don't hear any of these defenders coming out anymore, because it's getting to a point where it's a pretty open and shut case. And not only that, but what you see, what's going on with the fundraiser and them asking for more money, people are starting to ask the question, okay, where's the money that you have? You raised almost $500,000, over $500,000. Why don't you use that money for an actual private lawyer? But they're asking for more, right? They already have like $40 million. They're asking for an additional like 900K to reach a total of like 1.4 million. And people are like, okay, well, man, this doesn't make any sense. You have all this money. Why don't you just use that money for the actual defendant? And you coming up as an indigent defendant, saying you don't have any money for a private lawyer. People are like starting to question, like, all right, what are you doing with the money? Where's the money? Right, and I think people especially black people, are starting to realize that this might be a whole grift, right? This whole thing might be a grift, that you guys are just trying to make money off of this, and you have no intentions of actually trying to help your son defend himself against this case, okay? Because it's getting obvious that what he did, like he's going to be found guilty. The question is not if he's going to jail. The question is like, how many years is he going to get? Okay, so I think for a lot of people, especially watching this video, because obviously the issue is like depending, it's pretty far, right, from where they're at there in the press box. Having a camera over viewing that area, obviously it's gonna be pretty difficult unless you're able to zoom in to see what happened. But I mean, I'm pretty sure if let's say that doesn't, like, the evidence on that video is not good enough, you have plenty of eyewitnesses that can corroborate and say, this is what happened. So it's going to be pretty difficult for Karmelo Anthony to defend himself when it comes to the whole self-defense, right? Like I said, I'm not a lawyer, but based on what everyone else is saying, it's looking like pretty much that Karmelo Anthony was in the wrong. And I think once they go to the evidence, start having the trials, it's gonna be obvious. So that's why you got to be careful when you come to these donations, right? These people, when they come asking for money, you got to be careful. When it comes to donating, you don't know the intentions of a lot of these people. You want to make sure you have more evidence, more information, and not just say, oh, let me donate because this person looks like me, this person's black, so let me just donate. That's a dumb reason to do it. Okay, right? Especially since you don't know what really happened. But from the sounds of it, from what everyone's talking about, it pretty much sounds like Karmelo had intentions of stabbing him. And that's what happened. So to me, it's an easy case. But those are my thoughts. Interested to hear your thoughts. Make sure you leave a comment down below. Hit the like button, share. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe. So you guys take care. Have a good one. Later.